Now, it's not often that I talk about first-person shooters on this channel, but today we're going to be talking about a roguelike FPS that's in early access on Steam called Deadzone Rogue. Shoutouts to Keymailer and Developers Prophecy Games for the code. Now let's get right into it. So when the game starts, you are going to awaken on this ship with no memory of who you are. All you have is your trusty little pistol. And as soon as you step out into the ship, it's pretty much on and popping. That's pretty much how it goes. Now, what I like about this game is the way it starts off is pretty cool. So when you enter a room, every time you enter a room, you're going to be cloaked. And you get to kind of walk around. You get to scope out the scene. You get to see where all of the enemy robots are. And, you get to plan your attack. You get to get the drop on them. But as soon as you let off the first shot or throw the first grenade or, make the first move, everybody's on alert, and now it's just time to it's time to get the pew pewing. It's just on and popping from that point. And the way it kind of works is the ship is broken into zones, and so far in the early access there are 3 zones, and the zones are broken into story missions and specialty missions. And the way they pretty much work is with each mission you're gonna have to clear a certain number of rooms, of course, without dying, and you just need to make it to the end. And usually on the low end, it's been 20 rooms. On the high end for the main missions, it's been 30 rooms. And as you clear out rooms, you're going to be getting stronger. You're going to be finding all these just different kinds of perks and augments and items and weapons, armors. And, you get to collect loot and currency, which you get to use back at your main hub to give yourself like permanent upgrades. And you get those across 3 different categories, being defense, damage, and utility. But while you're on the run, like I said, you're going to be finding a lot of different weapons. There are these little safe rooms that you can go into every so often. They regenerate your health, and then you can either like buy new weapons or upgrade the ones that you currently have. And and it doesn't take long in this game, I feel like, before you start feeling really strong. That's one thing I really enjoyed about this, is the progression. It did not take long before I just felt like I was the man. Even though it took me out a couple times, but that I felt like I never felt like I didn't have the tools to get the job done. It was more so errors on my part, or me making it, maybe seeing a different kind of enemy for the first time and not knowing what they do, and then they kill me. But I feel like you progress at a pretty steady rate, and the weapons, man, and the upgrades are definitely a highlight for me for Deadzone. So many different weapons, man. The pistols, grenades, light machine guns, submachine guns, assault rifles, shotguns. We got sniper rifles. They got like this little, I don't know if you call it a Gatling gun. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool. Just a lot of different weapon variety. And I haven't found any weapon that to me felt like it was trash or it was useless. Even, of course there are weapons I like more than others, but everything I've used felt like it had its place and that it was strong enough to get the job done. And with the different amount of upgrades that you can get, man, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So they have some elemental effects that you can put on your weapons. Now, I've only seen 4 so far in early access. I don't know if the full game will have more, but the 4 I've seen are lightning, fire, ice, and then there's one called void. Personally, my favorite has been the ice. I did one run where I pretty much did a full ice build. I grabbed every ice upgrade that I could get my hands on, and I was just Mr. Freeze in every room. I was going crazy. I had all kinds of different ice effects and things going on, and I was just clearing rooms out, man. It was so much fun. And these abilities also apply to your melee weapons and your grenades, which I think is pretty dope. And the different elements, obviously have different effects. Freeze helps, slow things down with the ice. I think the lightning is really good with like the crit damage. I'm not really too good with the void one. I don't really understand that one. It looks cool. I don't tend to use that one that much. But the fire I just kind of started experimenting with. I like the combustion effect on there, and with a different amount of perks you can get, like even aside from the elemental ones, like the perks can affect anything from health upgrades, crit damage, the blast radius of your grenade, how fast you reload. There's so many different kinds of just little perks and items that you get that affect different stats, and it just helps with making the builds so much more fun. And like I said, it doesn't take long before you start feeling like you're pretty powerful. And the progression you feel like you're moving along at a steady pace. Like when I first played, I think my first run, I got to like room 6, and then I got to room 10. Second run, third run, I think I got to about maybe 14, 15. And then I got stuck on room 20 for a while, but eventually I made it to 30. And since then, I feel like I've been on a steady progression, and just with a different amount of weapons and upgrades. It's been so much fun. The game feels smooth, feels good. I have not experienced any crashes or things like that. The footage that you're seeing is only Zone 1. I've made it to Zone 2, and I tried it once, and I got clapped up. But I didn't want to show Zone 2. We're just going to stick with Zone 1 just for the footage. But no, there is a decent amount of enemy variety. You got your kind of basic standard little robots. They just kind of stand there and shoot. They don't really do anything too crazy. But then you got like melee-based enemies, these crawling spider things. You got Big Homie who's running around with the shield, this big flying face kind of thing. I don't really know what to call it. I'll try to put it on the screen so you can see it. You got like the walking laser turret. That dude is annoying. I hate that guy. Hate that guy so much. But you got boss fights in here. I'm not gonna show the boss fights. There's like a sub boss, and then I fought like a main boss. I might show the sub boss. He's just a big dude that just likes to charge at you and be annoying. The big boss, y'all see that when if you decide to play the game. But yeah, man, going around the different rooms, just scoping the layouts and fighting different enemies. You get to find these little logs in the room that kind of fill in the gaps to the story. And there is a story. Like I said, it's early access, so I don't know how much of the story we're really getting, but there is a like overarching narrative there, and you'll hear the main character make different commentary as he walks in different rooms. So there is like a narrative to follow. But yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with this. So far I've played it for about 10 hours, and just I've been enjoying this gameplay loop of just going on these runs, and then getting back to the main hub. You have a terminal hub that you can go to, like I said, for permanent upgrades to kind of keep you moving along. And I feel like you won't be stuck on one zone or mission for too long, because eventually you're just gonna get strong enough. And I think the game does a really good job of that. You can also play this in multiplayer. I played the multiplayer mode with my little brother. He helped me clear out one of the missions that I was on. Didn't experience any lag or broken connections, and that goes for the whole game. Like I have not experienced any crashes, any bugs or glitches. Everything is ran smooth. It plays well. I've been having a lot of fun with Deadzone. Like I said, I don't play a ton of FPS games anymore, but I like the challenge of roguelike. So I ain't gonna lie, I try not to play roguelikes anymore. I play too many of them, but like this, they called me, and this is another one that it just calls me. I can just pick this up. I can go on a run, that might take me 20 plus minutes, and hopefully I make it through. If not, I can put it down and then just come back later. But yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with this, and like I said, it's just the variety in the builds, the variety in the weapons. And I can say that I've made it, now that I've made it to Zone 2. Like I said, with Zone 1, you might see maybe the areas to you maybe look kind of samey. When you get to Zone 2, things definitely change. The area looks different. The enemies start doing some different stuff. I had a little robot hit a little James Bond roll on me. That was kind of crazy. I got clapped up in Zone 2. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't make it that long. Zone 2 got me out of there. But I'm gonna go back. And I'm gonna be better. But yeah, man, I've been having a lot of fun with Deadzone Rogue. This is a really fun FPS game. Like I said, still in early access, but I think the early access has enough content to keep you busy for a while. But if it looks interesting to you, I'll leave a link below. You can either purchase it or put it on your wish list for future purchase. But just wanted to come in and put this game on you guys' radar. But that's all I got for today, man. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will catch y'all on the next video.